Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn and I have the amazing Jack of all trades collection here, and I've already crafted with this better press plate, but I really love it. It's got kind of the design of a the back of a playing card, but I just think it's really pretty. I mean, even if you didn't see it as the back of a playing card, it's just a very lovely, pretty design. And so what I did was I pressed this onto black cardstock with a few different colors of pigment ink. So what two of them are Delicata inks. One is silver Delicata and the other one is champagne. And then the lightest panel, this one here, this is a white stays on ink. And I just really love the Sukaneko inks. They press beautifully even on a dark cardstock like this. So really play with the inks that you have on hand, because if you have nice opaque pigment inks, they might press really beautifully. So try pressing onto colored cardstock and just sort of play and see the effects that you might be able to get. You might have to do it a couple times just to really make sure that you've got enough ink on the plate, but even if these aren't perfectly solid, I'm totally okay with it because I'm just using it as a background anyways, and so it's okay if it's not a perfect pressing, but you can kind of see this looks really fabulous, and you can see all of those fine line details, which is the beauty of a press plate. The other die set that I'm using is these are like the little pips, you know, the little um suits for your playing cards, and you know the ranking and all of that. So really fun. You can make really fun little playing cards for your card or for your project. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make two playing cards, pair of aces. And I also pulled out the hand from do you remember the that collection with all the friendship bracelets? So this is part of that collection. This is the Bestie Heart and Hand die set, which is really awesome because you kind of have two different hands that have different positions so that you can create some different looks from them. So this one was the closest one that looks like it could be holding a pair of cards. It's not exactly, I don't think it's exactly the position that your hand would necessarily be in, but it's definitely a lot closer than the other one because the other one is more like palms up type of position. So I went with this one, and look how, I mean, this is a really large die, and you can see the portion of the arm there is really long as well. So it's great for if you like to make larger size cards like 5x7 cards or larger. This would be a really great focal image on larger cards as well as A2 cards like what I'm making today. So I am using this little mini die cutting machine, a new addition to my craft room, and I'm currently testing it, doing sort of a product review of it. So you'll be seeing it more and more. Usually I do all of my die cutting off screen because all of my die cutting machines are large, or in the case of my mini Empress, which is small, but it's plugged in, so it kind of has to be in a certain place in order for the cord to reach. And so, this being a manual machine, though, and small enough to fit on camera, you'll probably be seeing it more and more in my videos because I'm gonna try to use it as much as possible and as my primary die cutting machine. And of course, dies like these, even this long one with the hand, it's still narrow enough to fit on the die cutting plate of this mini machine. And so it would be capable of passing through the 3-inch opening just fine. But I already cut that out previously. But these little pips, of course, they're super tiny. So these had, there was no problem at all getting these to cut through the machine. What I did test was, can I cut through 2 layers of cardstock? Is there enough pressure to do that? On the red, definitely. The red, though, is only 65-pound paper. So doubling that up is only 120, 130-ish. The black, though, the clubs, that cardstock was 100 pounds. So doubling that up made it 200 pounds. And this machine was not able to cut through 2 layers of that. So it cut through one just fine, and it left a really nice indentation in the second layer. So that made it kind of easy to line back up and cut out the second layer. But just trying to put the machine through its paces and see what it is and isn't capable of. Now, it did take a little bit of time to trim off the edges of this playing card design, but I'm putting it right back onto a black card base. And part of the reason why I had to trim it off is because when I was positioning the panel to press in the first place, I didn't really center it very well. And I also, as it turns out, didn't even get it on super straight. So I did end up having to kind of trim off the excess edges, even though I did initially press onto an A2 panel. But that's fine. This just adds a little bit of extra dimension. So I've got my pair of aces here that I'm trying to set into this hand, and something didn't look right. So I cut the thumb off, which, you know, what this reminds me of is I live streamed with Amanda from Pear Blossom Press, and she was on a Crafty Fun with Friends episode, and she crafted with actually it's a different die set, but from the same collection, and it has 2 hands in the die set, and she cut the hands and the fingers apart as well, just to kind of reposition the fingers a little bit so that it fit more around the dome that she was using for her shaker. So as I was cutting off the thumb, I was thinking of Amanda because she gave me the idea. You can always just kind of snip into these however you need. But the die is actually really cleverly designed because each of the fingers, there's a cut line, but there's just a smidge of cardstock that actually holds it all together. But that means that if you wanted to separate out the fingers, you just need to snip through like that, just that little bit of cardstock that's holding it. And so that's what I did in order to tuck these cards more sort of into the palm of the hand, and have part of the fingers be on top and part of the hand be behind the cards to make it look a little bit more realistic. So this, I mean, I was really happy to discover that because it's just they've thought of it really well, because they could have just done maybe debossed lines to kind of have that detailing of separating out the individual fingers, but they didn't do that. Instead, they have cut lines to where it's like 98% cut through, and you just need to snip a couple of key spots if you want the hand to be holding something, or if you want, part of something to be behind versus in front, you can kind of make that decision. So I thought that was really clever. Spellbinders, they know what they're doing. They're pretty good at designing these dies so that it's easy to kind of adjust, modify, and get the look that you're going for. So I've got some leftover glimmered sentiments here that I just found in my little tray that I keep next to my craft table. So whenever I better press a bunch of sentiments or glimmer a bunch of sentiments, I just dump them into this tray now. And so whenever I need one, I can just fish something out of there. And that's going to finish up my card. A simple hello friend. It makes it really nice that this card can be for really any occasion. And I thought this was fun to put together. Really love this collection, the Jack of all trades. I'll leave everything in the description box below if you want to check any of it out for yourself. Thanks so much for checking out my video. And until next time, happy crafting and have a fabulous day. Bye.